Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as a member state of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, has secured funding to address the high incidences of HIV/AIDS under the OECS Multi-Country Project Global Fund grant. The project, which is being carried out by the Caribbean Vulnerable Communities Coalition in SVG, commenced in March. According to its liaison officer, Phyllis John Primus, HIV/AIDS awareness needs to be brought back to the front burner as there has been a decline in educational awareness, especially among vulnerable groups.
We need to retool our population, resensitize our population that HIV and AIDS, sexually transmitted infections, are still with us. These, health issues are still with us, and so we need to be empowered. We need to be put the conversation on the table again, so that persons can be made aware that yes, if you don't do what it takes to prevent infection of HIV or STI, then we will have to be dealing with an increase of persons living with HIV and AIDS.
The local liaison officer noted that the government has made services accessible to persons living with HIV/AIDS, but many shy away from going to the institutions, noting that the issues of stigma and discrimination remain.
It is not a case where services are not available, or care or support is not available for persons affected by or impacted by HIV and AIDS. We have free testing throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have healthcare provisions in a number of communities because we have upscaled our health sector in terms of the clinics in provision of services. These services are being available. That is testing for HIV and AIDS, testing of STIs, sexually transmitted infection or diseases, and they are available through the government system free. There are also organizations that offer these services at a minimal cost.
It is John Primus's hope that persons who are living with HIV/AIDS could be more open about their status, and is hopeful that they can live a normal life.
What are the issues confronting you? Why do you feel that you should not access, or what are the barriers for you in terms of accessing the services that are available for you, and how we can work together to reduce HIV and AIDS, empower persons to employ for themselves the response mechanism to keep their status negative, or to ensure that they are living a life that is positive, even as a positive person, accessing self-care, treatment, medication, whatever support you need to be compliant when it comes to your sexual status.
The OECS Multi-Country Global Fund grant runs for 3 years. The first phase of the project runs up to 8 months. Community groups and even whistleblowers need to be empowered and encouraged in dealing with child abuse and other social ills in the society. That's the view of Director of Marion House, Jeannie Oliver, who was a panelist on SVGTV's Viewpoint program last Sunday, looking at the issue of child abuse and whether it is becoming a norm in the Vincentian society.
The issue is fair. People even though they have the information, they are afraid to speak. But then you go to the police and you need to make certain that the police take your statement. They take note of it. And the police has got as well to support the person who is given the information. All of us need to support each other. If we have whistleblowers. There are whistleblowers in our communities. So we have to speak once we know what is going on. And this is why Jennifer and Corporal, that is why we have to do it continuously, and we have to ensure that the groups within our communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines function. The parenting groups, the youth groups, the community groups, the women's groups, the church groups, they must function. And we who sit in our as laurels in our offices need to get out of the office and go to speak to the issues, the challenges that we are facing in our country, and encourage, build the capacity, the self-esteem of the persons in those groups so that they will not be afraid to speak.
Oliver said support is needed so that every Vincentian and community group could play their part in addressing child abuse.
Long time we used to say it takes a village to raise a child. We have to go back to that. Yes, our young people are not the young person that I was when I was younger, but we have to continuously visit the groups, make certain the groups are functioning. As you say, some of them are not functioning, but we have to visit on a regular basis. In my day, within the government stuff, it was responsibility for women's development. All the non-formal sector of education, adult education, youth, women, community development, sports. All of us traveled to the leeward side of the island. Every Tuesday and every Thursday we were on the windward side of the island, starting from the furthest and then coming down. So we, as persons within the Vincentian society, individuals who have responsibility, we need to take our responsibility serious. We have to show interest, we have to show care, and we have to be able to visit on a regular basis, make certain these groups are functioning, speak with them on a regular basis, because we have to whip up the enthusiasm in order for us to get at. Yes. You have to provide the support.
Addressing how seriously the police take reports of child abuse, Corporal Romancia Jordan of the Sexual Offences Unit of the RSVG Police Force says every report is taken very seriously.
Whenever we get a report of child abuse, sometimes because the Sexual Offences Unit is so out there, they will even call us about regular child abuse, whereas physical abuse and so forth, and then we'll take the information still, although we do not deal with them directly, and we'll pass the information to mobilization. Whenever we get a report of child sexual abuse, we act on it at the highest level, make it a priority. So we take it very, very seriously. That's why we partner with different stakeholders. We're out in the communities, the churches, and so forth, so that our presence can be felt, so that the public can know how serious we take this crime.
How often do you get out into the community?
I would say almost maybe twice a week, because while we're out in the community, yes, that is part of it, but we also have to investigate.
Right.
Our investigation is not in the office on the computer. We're out in the community taking statements. We're on the block taking statement. If, for example, someone in block noticed something and we have to go on the block, we're there in the community. If it's just a neighbor who witnessed something and is hesitant about giving statement in the first instance, we will go to them again and again. We live in a world of social media, where if you don't want to physically go into court, you could let your feelings heard, and you can give evidence via Zoom or via another social media, another media, as opposed to going physically in the court. So we educate people when we go out as well.
This month is being celebrated as Child's Month under the theme Nurturing Tomorrow's Leaders. Get involved, with an emphasis on inclusiveness. Minister of National Mobilization et al., Orlando Brewster, says the Male Engagement and Development Program, MEND, and the Female Empowerment Program, spearheaded by his ministry, is one step in promoting gender equality in SVG. He was at the time delivering remarks at the graduation ceremony for participants of the two programs, which included students from the Sandy Bay, Georgetown and George Stevens secondary schools.
We do not want this program to end here, but we want it to blossom and take off, not only in North Windward or North Central Windward, but in all of the constituencies across the country. I want to speak this afternoon, especially as it relates to the males. I'm not leaving out the females, but I want to speak to our young men. I want you to take a serious look around in your community and see what is happening before your very eyes. Now, we want in the next 5 to 10 years that persons who graduated from this program, I want when I walk into a bank or when I come to a major construction company or a construction site, I would see one or two of the faces who graduated from this program.
Minister Brewster also told attendees at the graduation ceremony that the two piloted programs will give students the chance to develop leadership skills that will aid in their personal development.
To help to resolve conflict, because that is an area that we have to pay a lot of emphasis. And also, taking what you learn from this program and inspiring others to do better. Utilizing programs like these as opportunities to develop leadership skills, and it is crucial not only for your personal growth but also to contribute positively to your society. This graduation represents a significant milestone, not only for the Ministry of National Mobilization, not only for the Gender Affairs Division, and not only for you, the graduates, today. This program represents a step in the right direction. It is just the beginning. There are more things to come. There are greater mountains to climb, and there are many more things to be accomplished.
Delivering the feature address at the graduation ceremony, Minister of Sports and the Public Service Frederick Stevenson told those in attendance that the government's policy is to involve all young people in national development. Minister Stevenson said the government sees the youth as proactive agents of change and catalysts for advancement.
Seeks to empower you, our young people, with the educational and the skills necessary to give you opportunities for meaningful participation as we continue to unlock the potential of our young people so that you can make positive contributions to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and make our beautiful country a better place for all of us to live. The process, perspective, innovative ideas and boundaries of enthusiasm to tackle the challenges of our time. In terms of education, all of you since 2001 have been given a secondary education, whether or not you pass the common entrance exam then, or know what is called the CPA. Before that, if you had failed the common entrance, you didn't have a chance at a secondary education. But you have that wonderful opportunity since 2001, and I believe that you should give the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines a round of applause for ensuring your educational development and your advances.
The Male Engagement and Development Program MEND and the Female Empowerment Program ran for a period of 3 months in the participating schools. At last Friday's graduation ceremony, each participant received a certificate of completion. Leader of the opposition, New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, says his party plans to address the unemployment of youths in SVG once they form government. Dr. Friday, who was on WeFM's morning radio program on Monday, was asked of the plans his party has for the youth, to which he expounded on the Youth Guarantee Pledge that was launched by the party last year.
So the first part of our Youth Guarantee Pledge is saying, listen, in the first term of an NDP government, our approach is to generate jobs and to give you an opportunity to find jobs here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you are unable to do so, there will be training programs available, not in the kinds that we have here now that are fairly low skilled, but we have to upgrade our skilling, our technical and vocational education, for example. But there will be training programs available for all of those persons who want to take advantage of them. And then if you've done that and you still haven't found a job, there's a third component to a Youth Guarantee Pledge, and that is an internship program, which says that you have the skill, you have the training, you just haven't gotten a break. So we find the businesses in the public and the private sector and employers in the public sector to create an internship program that will allow those persons to find a job. My plan is for it to be for at least 1 year, where the government will pay half of the salary and the employer will match that, and so that the person gets a decent wage that they can live on.
In addition to the Youth Guarantee Pledge, the opposition leader said they will provide scholarships to all athletes who decide to choose it as a career path. Asked how he intends to create jobs, Dr. Friday explained that there would be the opening up of various industries. Dr. Friday was also pressed to respond to the evidence of the lack of young people in Parliament.
That is something that needs to, we are constantly looking for people to become part of and to also play a role in shaping the future of the party so that we can shape the future of the country. But the situation you will find is that a lot of young people, they are in vulnerable positions. And so sometimes they're reluctant to expose themselves very early. I mean, we have even now within our organization in the Young Dems. And then they find jobs, not just necessarily here, but elsewhere, and they leave, and then you have to replace and so forth, because they are at that stage in their lives where they are starting out, and the opportunities, when they come, they take them, and then sometimes they can't become too much more. Once they're there, they can't be too active publicly. And that is something that is affecting us now. You know, it affects, it's not just here. I've spoken to political leaders in Jamaica and in St. Lucia and Grenada, and they say, yeah, and especially if you're in opposition.
Meanwhile, the opposition leader reported that a few years ago, based on his interaction with many young people across the country, they were not excited about voting. However, this has changed, and he's confident that they will support the NDP.
I have said, I'm a politician. I'm looking to form government. I said to the young people, this is your election to win. If young people decide that they want to bring about change in this country, I am willing to lead that change. I want to form a partnership with them to do so. But once you decide that you're going to do it, nothing can stop it. Nobody can stop it, but they have to understand the power that they have, which is that I can change government. I can make a change in the country going forward. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the responsibility to do it. I'm not going to leave it to my parents or to my uncles and so forth. I'm going to take responsibility because obviously they're going to be living in this country longer than me. Mm-hmm. You know, it's your future to shape. Mm-hmm. So standing on the sidelines doesn't mean it doesn't affect you. It will affect you whether you participate or not. So it is best to participate, inform yourself, and to find out where your interests are best met or dealt with. And I believe the New Democratic Party offers that.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has announced the conclusion of the tenure of Dr. Shankar Balachandran as the High Commissioner of the Republic of India to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The ministry in a news release says Dr. Balachandran's tenure has been marked by significant contributions for the enhancement of bilateral relations between the two nations. According to the ministry, during his tenure, which commenced in 2019, His Excellency demonstrated exceptional dedication and commitment to strengthening the bilateral relations between India and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It was further noted that as a gesture of appreciation for his dedicated service, expressions of gratitude were conveyed to Dr. Balachandran for cooperation in several fields, such as education, culture, sports, technology, and infrastructure development. The government in its press release extended its heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Shankar Balachandran for his invaluable contributions and unwavering commitment to enhancing the friendship and cooperation between India and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nurses Week is observed annually from May 6th to May 12th, culminating on the birthday of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing. This week-long celebration serves as an opportunity to commemorate the profound impact nurses have on society and to express gratitude for their unwavering commitment to health care. This year's international theme for Nurses Week is Nurses Make the Difference. In an interview with SVGTV News, nursing student and chairperson of the Miss Division of Nursing Education pageant, Miss DNE 2024, Shannon McLean, gave a personal account of what Nurses Week means to her.
Nurses Week to me means celebrating our nurses in whichever specialty that they're working in. And personally, to know that I am contributing to the nursing atmosphere and the working environment to ensure that all patients that come under our care receive the best care means so much for me. And this Nurses Week is to celebrate that, not only the students, nursing students, but also the nurses who are registered and, of course, globally as well. It is very important that we commemorate the work that nurses do. This is because we need to ensure that all the nurses feel appreciated and also that they know whatever contributions that they make within their working environment is for the betterment of our patients and that it would reach, even if it's one person, it would reach very far. So when we commemorate nurses for this Nurses Week, we're telling them we see you, we hear you, and we support everything that you do in the clinical area.
McLean said nurses provide invaluable service to members of the public and their contribution to nation building should not go unnoticed.
Well, for Nurses Week this year, I am caught up with ensuring that our first cohort of nursing contestants get the best experience that they could with the Miss Division of Nursing Education pageant. That for me is a very monumentous occasion because it means that nursing students are stepping out of what we know nurses to be and exploring other avenues such as pageantry. And professionally, knowing that our nurses and nursing students are being celebrated this Nursing Week tells me that they are getting the recognition and encouragement needed to continue the great work that we as nurses do. When I was growing up and I heard about nurses, I initially thought that nurses were persons who were just bedside. They come to you when they're needed. They take care of you, and then when you're better, they go ahead, and that is the end of the interaction. However, since joining the nursing profession and as a current nursing student, I am seeing that nurses are more than that. We have so many nursing talents that we would like to display to the world. And this Nurses Week is for us to display that, to show the world and, of course, at home, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, what our nurses have outside of the clinical setting.
McLean used the opportunity to encourage nurses and nursing students across SVG to strive to leave a lasting impact on the patients they encounter as they perform their duties.
Whether it is your patients or the persons you meet along the way, ensure that they know your good qualities, your good intentions, and that they have a very, very good perception of nurses and nursing students. Outside of Nurses Week, the appreciation that can be shown to nurses is that the general public can continue to extend grace to our nursing professionals and nursing students to ensure that your nurses and healthcare providers always feel seen and heard, grant us some patience, as you are always within our hearts and we have your best interest at heart. On an annual basis, I would like for us to consider ways in which we can improve the environment in which our nurses work and, of course, by extension, our healthcare professionals. By improving the environment that we work in, it ensures that we are able to give optimal care to all of our patients.
Participants of the recently concluded 3-day workshop on the digital single window for land and property transactions say it was an enlightening exercise as they share how the platform will help to make the service they provide more efficient.
I'm Charlene Douglas, Deputy Registrar, High Court Registry. I attended the workshop on the single window for land and property. This workshop was very enlightening. The purpose of it is for us to improve our product for the public, in particular for the registry, for us to see how we can improve our service. We are responsible for the registration of deeds documents. So just for us to improve our business process, so when persons come to search for the deeds, they could do it more efficiently, quickly, and it'll have more information in one space. So if you have your deeds, you can see who owns the property, if there are any encumbrances, such as if there's an easement, if there's a lien on the property, if there's a mortgage, and when and if it was discharged. So it should help persons to get their mortgage a little bit quicker. It should be a little cheaper for you when you engage a lawyer.
Hi, my name is Kevin Alexander, representing NEMO. I attended the workshop, Single Window for Land and Property. It is very useful. The information provided to us as participants is very useful as a way going forward to how the government and how the different stakeholders plan to do the whole registry of lands and land ownership. It will help us at NEMO in times of disaster, because we have issues with persons claiming that property belongs to them, or they've been living here for X amount of years when the property isn't theirs, it's somebody overseas. So in terms of rebuilding or rehabilitation, the property has to be in your name for you to benefit anything. So this will give us an ease where we could always check the system to see who is the legal owner and go forward from there. So this is a good opportunity and a good platform where we can start, and also to help private persons to be a bit more secure in terms of their lands and how their lands are registered.
My name is Saskia Scotland. I'm representing the Department of Housing and Informal Human Settlements. Now, this is my 3rd day at this workshop, and it has been very informative, and I can see it enhancing our work at the department. Now, our primary concern is housing. And because we are not the custodians of land, it means that we have to interface with several other departments, including the physical planning department as well as the land and surveys department. And sometimes that slows down our ability to work efficiently. So once this platform gets online, once it is done in the way in which they're envisioning it, it would make our work easier and more efficient.
The single window for land and property transactions is one of the major components of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, which promises to revolutionize the way government services are delivered and accessed by citizens and businesses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Police Welfare Association of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will this week host the 12th annual meeting of the Caribbean Federation of Police Welfare Associations, the CFPWA, from tomorrow, Wednesday, May 8th to Friday, May 10th, 2024. The CFPWA plays a pivotal role in advocating for the welfare and well-being of police officers across the Caribbean and comprises 14 member states and 4 observers, including the local association. A news release says this year's meeting themed Unity, Resilience and Empowerment, Navigating Challenges, Shaping Tomorrow for Law Enforcement Officers across the region, aims to enhance the resilience and capacity of law enforcement agencies through cooperative efforts and shared insights. The regional meeting is expected to provide a vital platform for members from various states to exchange experiences address common challenges, and discover innovative solutions that improve both welfare and operational effectiveness across regional police forces. The release further states that the discussions during the meeting are expected to lead to substantial improvements in the support systems and working conditions for police officers. These enhancements will ensure that officers are more effectively equipped to serve and protect the community with greater efficiency. As hosts, the Police Welfare Association of St. Vincent and the Grenadines says it is proud to facilitate this important gathering, which reflects their commitment to the principles of unity and collective progress in law enforcement throughout the Caribbean. The opening ceremony of the regional meeting will be held tomorrow from 9 a.m. at the Methodist Church Hall in Kingstown.